Have you ever wondered what goes bump in the night? What could be lurking round the corner? What shadows are waiting for us in the dark? Why we feel like we are being watched by the mysterious eyes of an unknown entity? When all rational explanations have been exhausted, it only leaves one explanation: the paranormal. Take a journey into the realm of the paranormal with your hosts, Damon Penny and Ben Winfield. We explore all things paranormal, from mediums to apparitions, from orbs to the occult, from demons to angels, and everything in between. So strap in and join us as we explore into the unknown. And don't forget, things can get a little strange. The Other Dimension Show on Pulse Talk Radio.
Welcome one and all to the Other Dimension Show. It's your Saturday night paranormal fix once again. Yes, it is. And tonight, we'll talk about demonic hierarchy again, because it seems to be the popular thing at the moment. So we're definitely going to get into that. Now, before we get any further, I've got to send a massive shout out to our Patreoners. The new Patreoners, out to Kathy Adams, who has joined the Other Dimension on Patreon, which means that she gets the bonus show. And along with her, we've also got a brand new Patreon, out to Robert DiBernardo. Welcome along, mate. You are going to enjoy them bonus shows. They are going to be amazing. So, let's get into this. Let's get into the talk. Now, I've got to bring him on. He's off doing his thing again, investigating, but it's all good. It's all good. He is the man, the myth, the legend, the one they known as the Master of Disaster. It's Mr. Ben Winfield.
You say Master of Disaster. I've come out obviously to do the radio show. Literally, as you went on air with the jingle, it started hammering it down.
Oh, really?
I've had to jump in a car.
That's always the way. So, just to let listeners know as well, I know the England game is on, and I will keep you up to date with the score, as I've got it in the background, and I've got money on it. So, you got to get your priorities straight.
Yeah, can I just give a shout out as well to Robbie, who joined Patreon. He is one of my mates in New York, in America.
Brilliant.
He is a fellow demonologist as well.
Oh, brilliant. I mean, all the Patreon guys, you get the extra bonus show. Once we sort of get up with the people on Patreon, we're going to be doing weekly sit-down sessions with us.
Q&As.
Q&As. Demonology 101. I mean, the Patreon guys are going to get this completely unlimited experience here on the Other Dimension. So, if you guys want to enjoy that, you want to get them benefits, head over patreon.com/the Other Dimension. Just sign up, become a true ODD, and enjoy the bonus content. It's as simple as that. Hell yeah. Hoorah. Now, I've got my demon encyclopedia loaded up. I'm ready for tonight, mate. I've put the strap on and about to kick the crap out of this.
You sure?
Oh yeah, I'm well ready for it. Definitely.
Right.
So, let's get into the demonic hierarchy. So last time we was talking about the same sort of four demons seem to appear at the top. You know, you have your Lucifer, Beelzebub. Is it Astaroth, or is it... I can't remember the other one.
Asmon.
Who's Asmon? That's it.
I'm going to get stuff tattooed on your arms.
I think I need it, mate. I think I need it. Seriously. It's just... I can't remember half of it. Do you know there's one... Do you know there's a demon called Abracadabra?
Does it evolve into Alakazam?
No, seriously. The word abracadabra was first recorded by the Roman physician Quintus Serenius Sammonicus in the 2nd century AD. He's one of them demonics where it was sort of like the term was sort of come around by doing like these sort of communication sessions.
Yep,
So
it was said to have met him in the underground of Rome in the hot springs.
yes,
Said to have come forth and given him the knowledge of alchemy.
Yep.
Managed to help Rome progress into the empire that it was.
Yep. And also, when he met him, he gave him these words. They were supposed to be like some sort of magical words, and it helped cure blindness. And it's believed to be sent by the female demon, Shabiri. Honestly, mate, I'll go through some of these names, and they're just crazy. But let's get into this.
Shabiri I'll give you that. Shabiri is one I've not heard.
Mm-hmm.
So
she's Hebrew demonic.
I might know who it is then. Different name, different region.
Why? Which one do you know it is?
I think it's Herethnans.
Yeah. Hold on. It looks like England have got a free kick, just to keep you updated. I might be a bit behind, but I think this is a goal. And there it goes. 2-0 England, people. We're up by 2 goals. And I am 27.50 in pocket. Probably, maybe.
I don't know what that is in the US for like other people around the world. I think. Yeah. We'll leave the mathematics. We're not the brainiest people when it comes to mathematics.
I'm no good at numerology or anything like that. It's crazy. Now, I wanted to get into ball, because I know that you know a hell of a lot about ball.
Yeah.
And a lot of people mistake ball for Moloch.
Moloch, yeah. Moloch and Baal are the two most mistaken people. Everyone thinks they're each other. They are not. They are two separate, different entities, and they are separated by a hell of a lot of distance as well.
So when you say distance, are we talking like time?
Time and distance.
Oh,
Baal or Baal, or the original name was El, stuff like this. He is from, you can trace his origins from Samaria.
Right.
Moloch, you can trace his, there is a small starting point in the Middle East, but there is a good 1,000-year difference between them.
Yeah.
And then you ended up, if I remember correctly, you ended up with a shrine to him in the south of Spain and most of Carthage.
Yes.
Carthaginia. Now that's where it gets confusing, and that's where it comes, because Baal was taken there, the belief of Baal was taken there via the caravans. The caravan of routes from the Middle East always go from there to Morocco.
Right.
And back and forth. So you've got the caravanners that are taking, obviously, the Arabs and all the desert tribe demonics, and call them spirits just in general, because it makes there's demonics, angelics, everything else mixed in there. So that's where the crossover started getting confusing. People were mistaking Baal and Moloch as being the same people, but they're not. Moloch has the head of a bull. Baal is traditionally seen as, the books talk about him being seen as this spider with 3 different heads, one of a man, one of a my brain's gone dead. But the old way of seeing him was of an elderly gentleman.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
Yeah. So you've got this misconception massively.
Wow.
Well, you get it with a lot of people.
Wow. It's not. See, because you have a lot of demons that sort of change their name over time, didn't they? You know, Lilith, Sophia. I can't think of any of the other ones, but Baal and Moloch, Al-Nana, which was her Sumerian name. Right.
So you've got the changes straight away.
Yeah. So Baal and Moloch, it's not a change, like a generational change sort of thing. It's literally two different entities.
Yeah, two different entities running into each other at the same place and getting mistaken.
Yeah. In the Encyclopedia of Demons that I've got in front of me that I've annotated, I've got down here that Baal is listed with the rank of the first king of hell of the eastern section. Commanding 66 legions.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, people, 3-0 England. Oh, no. It also says here he appears to his summoner as a cat, a toad, or a crab, an old gentleman, or a conglomeration of all three at once, and speaking with a hoarse voice.
Yeah.
Oh.
Now that's out of the Demonology Encyclopedia by Rosemary.
Yeah, you're bang on there.
God, I'm good
bang
on.
on there. Mm-hmm. It's also from the Lexicon of Solomon, and the Encyclopedia of Occultism and Parapsychology.
Yeah.
So there you go, guys. A bit of knowledge dropped on your asses.
Yeah.
So
now you see, he's listed in there as being one of the king of the 72. However, the 72 is split up into a lot of other different groups, which a lot of people don't know.
Oh, okay. This is news to me. I've never heard of this.
Yeah. Within the 72, you have members of the fallen, which we know as the fallen angels.
Yeah.
You have the High Council, which are all the kings. They're not classed as demonics. They're just in the old textures. They're classed as gods.
Right.
You've got the apocalyptics.
Yeah.
Which are beings classed as being there on Judgment Day. They control the flow of basically everything. Work directly on. They are, if I remember, classified as direct descendants of death itself.
Right.
And then you have. Oh, let me find the name because I've got it in front of me. 2 seconds, because I'm working out of my small black book.
Yep.
It's Belith.
Oh, right, yeah, I've heard of that one. Yep.
Belith is the final king when it comes to the Solomon things.
Yeah.
Now he stands alone by himself.
Right.
He is the birth, believe it or not, of the word devil. Not Lucifer, not Satan. He is the one that they call the devil. Right.
Is it because he shows up with a pitchfork and the horns?
No, I think that's only at weekends though.
Yeah, sort of like a non-binary cross-dressing, like sort of demonic.
Now you see Lucifer, that people always go, "Oh yes, is the devil." He isn't. He's classed as a fallen angel.
He is.
He's not a demon in any way, shape, or form.
No,
this is where a lot of things get mixed up.
Yeah, and I say to people, just look at his name itself. Lucifer, the name means light bearer.
Yeah.
You wouldn't call a demonic light bearer.
Yeah.
You know.
And then you have Satan.
Mm.
Now, Satan is an old Hebrew Arabic name. Mm-hmm. He is a separate entity altogether. But he himself is not known as the devil.
No.
So you've got three people, one of them actually being classed as the devil, the other two, which we commonly refer to as the devil, not actually being the devil at all.
Yeah, 100%. And people don't realise, like you said, Satan is an old Hebrew name. It actually stands for Satan. And Satan means Saturn. And the Gnostics, you used to worship Saturn because you have this thing called Saturn worshipping, you know, with the whole black cube worship and stuff like that. And that's where we sort of get the whole Satan is the devil through the whole Gnostics belief system and the way that they see him as the opposite of God. So it just sort of follows the right thought pattern if you sort of reverse it for Catholics and Christians and that. Yeah.
The ironic thing is that obviously Christianity gained its ground in Rome. This is where the big ironic thing is that Rome, when they were under the pagan pantheon, Saturn was their main god. He was the equivalent to Zeus in the Greek pantheon.
Yes, he was. Yeah. And
so
also,
this is them demonizing their own old god.
Yeah. And do you know, when we sort of spoke about the different sort of ways the hierarchy happens as well, if you look at the Pseudo-Monarchia Daemonium, which is a grimoire, it's by, what's his name? Johann Weyer. If you look at that, the king, he has like kings, and the number one is Baal and Baal.
Yeah.
And where you got the spider that appears with the three heads in the Pseudo-Monarchia Daemonium. If you look at I think it's called the Dictionary Infernal as well, there's an illustration of Baal as a spider with the three heads. So you've got the frog, the cat, and the human head. Yeah. Yeah.
Every single image you've got of demonics nowadays comes out of that Inferno.
Yes.
It all comes from that Inferno.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But if you go back to the Arabic tribes, they would laugh if you showed them images and said, this is what so and so looks like, this is what so and so looks like. They would generally laugh.
Yeah.
Because that's not how they see them or portray them or anything like that. The thing with the Solomon demons is there's a hell of a lot of confusion. The best one I find is Amy.
Yes.
Everyone instantly, that's a male demon. Not all the 72 are males.
No, they're not.
They just assume that they're all males.
It's like Vine, one of the kings in Solomon's Lesser Key. Vine is a female, but she's an earl in the King of Hell. Yeah. And then you get down to like dukes in the Lesser Key. You got Astaroths in there. Astaroth pops up a lot.
Astaroth's a bit of a heavyweight for things.
You were saying he's old school. You say he was one of the old gods.
Astaroth, AIM, AIM.
Yep.
Asmon. They're all part of what's known as like the old god. They're the heavy hitters.
Yeah. I've got some notes here on AIM actually, because I got heavily into AIM. Also known as Habarim.
Yep.
Great Duke of Hell, very strong. 26
Habarim
legions.
Habarim is the tribal name and the desert name for him.
Yeah, he's the Great Duke of Fire, so he sets cities and castles and stuff on fire. So I did get majorly into him. He's pictured riding a cat, am I right?
Yeah. You see, he is part of what's known as the Apocalyptics.
There's 12 of them, isn't there?
Yeah. The End Bearers. People know the 4 Apocalyptics.
There's actually 12.
War, death, famine. And they don't realise it's 12 made up of demonics and also angelics. Aziel, this is where I get a bit sad. I'm a massive fan of Aziel through history. I'm like a proper fanboy. Aziel is an apocalyptic of plague. If you look at the old Hebrew, he's the one that brought about the plague that swept through Egypt and killed all the firstborns. Any disaster that ever happens when you read the Old Testament, the Book of Enoch, any of the old school books, Aziel is the one behind it that is doing all the barbaric things. Yeah,
and wasn't he the left hand or the right hand man of Raphael?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then you've got Raphael, who's part of what's known as the Peacekeepers. Him and Asmon have been fighting for centuries. In fact, if you turn that book to Asmon, it will tell you about the story of where. And now this is backed up in Egyptian history as well. And you remember these guys had their own pantheon of gods and demons and all that. They
Yeah.
speak about the fight between Asmon and Raphael in the city of Luxor, where he was imprisoned into the second obelisk pillar in Luxor.
Oh,
And
right.
just out of curiosity, if anyone ever wants to look it up, if you look at the temple of Luxor, it is on the, if you have it facing north, you look on the left-hand side of Luxor temple, you will see a settling pond and an obelisk at the back.
Right.
That is the obelisk that he's said to be imprisoned in.
Okay. Yeah.
Sorry, have I done that thing again where I've fried your brain?
You've done that thing where you've dangled the fucking carrot again. That's it. I won't be heard of for another 3 days. I'm going to be stuck with my head in the... See, I can't find Asmon in my encyclopedia. I can find Asmodee. I can find Asmaug.
Asmodee is Asmon. I'll just say Asmon for sure.
Oh, Asmodee. So, a demon of lust, or to destroy and exterminate. Yeah.
Yeah. The story is that he fell in love with a woman called Sarah. She had 7 brides. He killed all 7 and then came back for number 8. But she'd asked Jehovah for help.
Right.
And Jehovah sent Raphael to deal with it. And these guys have been locked in combat since then.
Oh, right. Okay. Do you know what? There's another one I wanted to ask you about. And it's one that I can't find a lot of information about, but I know he's high up there in the hierarchy. I think he's a duke. Is Dantalion.
Dantalion is high up there, but he's not a member of the Key of Solomon.
Mm.
He's separate demonic.
I've just put it up on Wiki, right? I'm not gonna lie to you. I've stuck it up on Wiki. And he's 71st of 72 spirits of Solomon.
Yep.
And he teaches all arts and scientists, and also declares the secret counsel of anyone.
Yep.
I don't know. This is what I mean. You've dangled the carrot now, and that's it. It's game over.
Remember, though, and anyone can go check this out, everyone knows the 72 Solomon demonics. You've had the 69 before that.
Yes. And they get added to all the time, don't they?
You had adds to the Solomon. You had people added to it. You had people taken out of it. You look at Lilith. She's mentioned in the Testament of Solomon, the building of the temple.
Yes.
However, she's not mentioned in the 72 demonics.
Yeah.
Of Solomon. There's quite a few that aren't mentioned in there.
And just to sort of stick it out there, it's now officially 4-0 to England. They are wrecking it. Jesus Christ. Do you know what I've noticed as well, mate? With the 72 keys, the Lesser's Keys of Solomon, how many of them are so close to my name?
Yeah.
You've got Amon, Paimon.
Yeah, but your name is actually another name for the devil.
Yeah, Daemon, yeah. And Joe else is in the 72? Valak.
Yes, Valak is in there. However,
yes,
it's interesting.
I want to look at this one actually. So, oh, he's a cherubim, according to this.
Valak.
Yeah.
He is actually a she.
Yes, I've just realised that.
Yeah.
He's also known as Ualak or Falak. And in Thomas Rudd's variant, he is pictured as an angelically winged boy riding a 2-headed dragon.
Yeah. But
we spoke about that behind the scenes, didn't we? About the whole riding a demon. So.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh dear.
There was in the other podcast, I do go into deep about that sort of thing.
Yes. So anyone who wants to hear that, join up. All the Patreon.com/The Other Dimension. Join up. £3 a month gets you bonus episodes, straight messages to us, both me and Ben, and we'll get back to you. And we're also going to start doing AQAs, and we're also going to start doing like Demonology 101. So it's worth joining. It's worth joining. The conversations on Inside the Other Dimension, they're a lot deeper, aren't they? Really.
You get to hear me rant a lot as well.
Oh, it's brilliant.
I go off on a rant and a tangent. Yeah, Ben Winfield rant that are very rare.
Oh,
but
yeah.
When I go off on one, I go off on one.
They're like tornadoes in Dagenham. They're very rare, but when they happen, they cause serious amounts of damage.
There's just bits of information that are dropped constantly. The same as you on here. I just drop bits of information and wind more people up by going bang, 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 bang.
Definitely. But I wanted to ask you as well, because the whole thing about, Solomon's Lesser Key, the 72 demons, how do you find that sort of compares to, because as demonologists we sort of make our own hierarchies based on what we read, whether we look at the subpoena, the Spina sort of hierarchy, or we look at the Binefield hierarchy, and we sort of like read what we've got to read and sort of build our own. So how does the 72 compare to your research? Is it quite close, or is it a little bit far away, or is it completely wrong?
Well, the 72 in my aspect are a lot more. They're a lot more further down the chain, to be honest, because I deal with what's known as like the High Council members and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So with me, the High Council are probably the ones going the most, with it obviously the three sisters running incredibly high up on that.
Yeah, because we wanted to talk about the three sisters. Are we talking about, when we talk about the three sisters, is that past, present, and future? Yeah.
You've got the 3 tiers of existence, basically. And then you've got the apocalyptics, which is obviously death and all the other apocalyptics. And you've got life itself, and then you've got the void and the veil and the ether, which are your 3 energy tiers. Obviously, everyone knows about the veil because that's what people go to investigate, with the spirits coming over from the veil, demonics coming over from the veil, angelics.
Yeah.
The void is a bit different. The void is the main thing that, when you have this weird sensation to just, barbaric as it sounds, to just like jump off a cliff.
Yeah.
They say that that's the void calling for you.
Oh, right, okay.
And the ether is just higher up. A lot of people talk about seeing a great light that everyone comes from. That would be the essence of the ether.
Oh, right. Okay.
But the ether itself is black and white, because obviously you have to have a balance. Everything in this world requires a balance.
Yeah. And like sort of like, the yin and yang, the push and pull. Yeah. The universe has to be balanced. I mean, I live life with that. It's sort of like, the rule of abundance, love thy neighbour. If I've got it, you can have it. If I haven't, you haven't. Because I like to keep my universe in balance. Yeah. And I've learned a lot of that, A, from talking with you, and B, from sort of things that I've read in grimoires or whatever you sort of want to call it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You've basically got what's known as like equal exchange, which, if anyone's ever watched, there is an anime that explains the equal exchange through alchemy. This is what people tend to forget. And just to throw this information out there, which is going to be a real information drop.
Right, go.
Demonics, no matter how many films or TV shows or anything you read of like horror books, they're not after your soul. No. Your soul has no value. In an equal exchange. Vessel. Yeah. Equal exchange, the human soul it's weightless in a sense that it has no worth to it.
Yeah. I mean, you talk about, I think it was on one of the first shows you come on, you said, after the show, you said, try and find out how much the human soul weighs. And that's like your little thing, in it.
Yeah, that's always my question straight away. How much does the human soul weigh? And a doctor examined a bunch of people to find this out, and noticed that the human body loses this exact amount every single time. So they came up with the theory that that is how much the human soul weighs.
It sort of makes sense. It does make sense. Does make sense. I mean, we're going to get heavily into the whole three sisters. I want to talk about the five brothers and sisters as well, which are sort of depicted. But we're just going to go into a quick ad break. So if anyone's listening, if you've got any questions, pop them up in the Discord. Don't forget, if you want to join the Discord, head over to facebook.com/TOD Paranormal. The Discord link's up in there. Free to join, and it gets you straight through here at the studio. But we'll be back after this little ad break.
Damon Penny and Ben Winfield, The Other Dimension Show, only on Pulse Talk Radio.
Pulse Talk Radio, the place to come for talk shows about the paranormal. Sponsored by the Psychic Clinic. Empowering self-healing. ThePsychicClinic.com.
Do you enjoy The Other Dimension Show? Do you want more from the boys? Do you need that one more show? Well, have we got a treat for you? Head over to www.patreon.com and become an official patron of the show. For just £3 a month you get a weekly bonus episode. This bonus episode can only be heard on Patreon by the true ODDs, so don't miss out. www.patreon.com/The Other Dimension and sign up today.
And we're back on the other side. Oh yeah, let's get Ben back. How you doing, Ben?
I'm alright. You always forget to unmute me after the second coming back.
Joyce, it's because you're not important.
Alright. I'll leave you now.
I am the Playboy face of the other dimension.
Yeah. You're the poster boy, mate.
Do you know what, saying that though, right? Of all the messages I get, it's normally, can you ask Ben? Can you ask Ben? Can you ask Ben? Every single one. I'm just like the guy that chats a load of crap, and you're the guy that every time you talk, people have got their ear next to the speaker.
You're the pretty face, mate. You're the pretty face of all this. That's how it works.
Now, on the Discord, Kathy's saying that she wants to hear, she's most intrigued about this dragon. Now, I know that these dragon things don't exist. I mean, have you ever come across a demonic that rides a dragon?
Yeah, in China.
Oh, are you talking about the... Oh, I can't remember their names now. Oh, God. See, I've not got into the ancient Chinese stuff. I mean, I've touched on the Jinn. I've touched on the sort of that, the Aramaic, the Hebrewic. But the Chinese... See, that's intriguing because that is a whole country full of atheists, and yet they have demonics.
Yep. That's the same with Japan. That whole Asia area, they are very atheist. Obviously, you've got Hindu there that's massive, but Hindu and Buddhism are not religions. They're way of lives out there.
Yeah.
But they are still very ridiculously superstitious about dishonouring places or anything like that.
Yeah. I mean, we've got to send a massive shout out to everyone over there in Chinese Taipei, where we're officially the number 3 in alternative podcasts.
Yep, I also need to do a shout out to a friend of mine, Zai. He's out there and he listens to it.
Brilliant.
Even though he's supposed to be studying.
This is going global, mate. This is going global. And big shouts out to Carl Wah, the owner of Pulse, who's gave us the opportunity. Honestly, mate, hats off to you. Pulse is making big moves, mate.
Carl, I'll get you beers and I'll even get you some of my own personal vodka.
Milk vodka.
Milk vodka and the Werther's original vodka and the blacks. Basically, my long list of all the vodkas that I have.
Something tells me you are half Russian.
I don't know, my friend. Maybe.
Now, I want to get into this talk about the three sisters. Now, a lot of people don't realise that it is pretty much common knowledge, this past, present and future in the Three Sisters. And people go, what do you mean it's common knowledge? And I say, have you ever watched a film, like a Disney film, Hercules? They're in there. And they were also in 300 as well. Do you know the film about the Spartans?
Yep.
Where he goes up.
No, that's different. That is, believe it or not.
Is it really?
Yeah. That's the... I want to say Apocryphes. Yeah, it is the Apocryphes.
Right.
The
Because they all
Apocryphes
share one eye, don't they?
Yeah, but in 300, it's the Apocryphes that they go up to, which are the like Vestal virgins that used to have the messages from the Three Sisters, who required them to be pure of body, pure of heart. They were kept in a trance at all times, so that they could receive. They basically were like the ancient version of mediums now.
Yes. And talking of mediums, mediums they've got me in a pickle this week. I've been reading into. I've told you, didn't I? I've been sort of reading into this Operation Looking Glass, which is like the whole thing with stargates and time travel and that. And I come across this thing called the Montauk Project. Right now, this Montauk Project, what they used to do, it's an air base in America called Montauk, and what they was doing is they were getting psychic mediums to use this machine, and what they were seeing, it was actually producing an image of like future happenings and past happenings. So these mediums were picking up on spirits and sort of picking up on things that were happening, but they were able to turn them into images out of this machine. And I remember you saying something about there's a machine in the Vatican that does it as well.
Yeah, if you look into it when you get into like the conspiracy side and stuff like that, the Vatican City is said to control one of these machines. It's supposed to be advanced. It's supposed to be from the same place that the I think the Athena mechanism. I think I've said that right. The clock they found underwater that was massively advanced. You can see it in natural history. If you put it in there, natural history websites bring it up like that. Anti-Athena mechanism.
Oh, okay. I mean, I'm going to get deep into this Montauk thing because I'm into like the whole Stargate thing. You know, the whole thing of being able to travel through the veil to go to the future or predict future events. It's something that's always sort of interested me since I read Jim Marrs' book, The Fourth Reich, where he was talking about like the Nazis' experiments with the paranormal. You know, the super soldier, the Glockenspiel, all the Stargate stuff they were doing. It's always really interested me. But Kathy was going to ask, she said after about being intrigued about this dragon, she said, I was going to ask if they were the 3-1 with one eye. I mean, that means nothing to me.
The sisters are, they're always pictured as having this one eye to be able to see.
Yeah.
However, ancient mythology does still have them as being basically, one of them's an elderly woman, one of them's a middle-aged woman, one is a woman in like early 20s. The eye in ancient, like pre-Greek and all that lot, the eye is said to be a jewel,
right?
Not to be an actual, like the eye itself. It's like, how can I put it? It's like it was supposed to be like an actual like precious stone that was placed into water that turned the water into basically a seeing mirror.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah. I mean, if you look at the symbolism behind the eye, they say the eye is the window to the soul as well, don't they? Yeah. So the symbolism behind that, the fact that the eye, they pass the eye around, all three of them, shows that obviously when the present's got the eye, they can see the present. I mean, the present, well, you know, I mean, that sort of symbology behind it.
Yeah. The original plates, which this will probably confuse people. They were said to have come from a place which is supposed to be the eye of the world, which is now known as the Eye of Africa, which can be seen via Google Earth.
Yes. And for the Patreon listeners, when we spoke on, I think this was our first bonus episode, and we spoke about Atlantis.
I started running off more information about it on there.
Yes, and we've actually got pictures of the Eye of Africa uploaded to the episode, on the bonus episode of Inside the Other Dimension, so people can see, because there's some information on the bonus episode anyway. We're going to be doing an episode on Atlantis on Pulse anyway. But sort of moving on, you've got the, what are they called? I mean, I think you know them as elders, but you've got the 5 brothers and sisters.
The children and the sisters.
Yeah, Death, Dream, I think it's Agony. I can't remember, Joe. I can never remember all 5 of them.
All the humanic pains, as they get called, all the pains that came forth, and the last one of these being Pandora, but she's known as a different name.
Is this where we get the thing about Pandora's box? If you open Pandora's box, all hell breaks loose.
Yeah, this is where it comes from. That she is the last. These all went on to be known as gatekeepers.
Gatekeepers. So they're the ones that control the in and out of the veil.
Yeah.
See, because I've always been confused with the whole thing about the veil, because it's a new concept to me. I've never really experienced it as the veil. I've always experienced it as limbo.
Yeah, but limbo can be 2 different things. It's strange. Basically, with a veil, you have what's known as like the fog. The veil, it's known as the fog, the tunnel, the whitening lights, all this sort of thing. Yeah. That's when you come into portals and that lot. When it comes down to it, human souls, if I remember this correctly, after reading it in a manuscript in Cambridge, that the human soul is the only thing that can pass through the veil.
Yeah.
However, demonics, angelics, elementals, all the other things have to pass through portals due to the fact that the veil was blocked off when Pan died and supposedly Jesus arose, if that kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
There's a swapping of the ages, it's known, where paganism finally faded out, Christianity became the main religion of the world.
Yeah. It sort of took over as the major cult of the world, didn't it?
Yeah. You had basically the Teutonic Order at the time, which was, I think, possibly the 12th, 13th century, that were a crusade in Europe that people don't know, rarely know about, that were sent out by the church to eradicate the last of the pagans.
Yes. It's supposedly one of them that, is it in Rome, where they had the statues of the naked men and he went around cutting off their genitals, and then they replaced it later on with the olive branches. The leaves. Yeah, we're on the same page there. Yeah. It was they were the ones that went around for the Illuminati as well, because the Illuminati was looking at science over religion as well.
Yes, they were at that time, yeah.
Yeah.
The Illuminati back then were on about they were a hidden cult that dedicated themselves to science. Yes,
the enlightened ones. That's what Illuminati is, and they were like literally decimated by these sort of Teutonic Catholic knights. Yeah,
they went in and destroyed a lot of it. The Teutonic Order went in and wiped out a lot of the old religions, old orders, old cults, and that lot. A lot of them retreated. A lot of them retreated to like the Middle East, Asia, like India, sort of around that area. There is a myth that some of them managed to escape to America and places like that.
Yeah.
Well, and if anyone ever wants evidence of this, you just have to look into wondering how they managed to travel this far. You have to look into history. There are Chinese stories of the Roman legion reaching China.
Yes. Yeah, I've heard of this.
There was also a black samurai, black samurai warrior
Yes.
as well. I can't remember his name. But the world was a lot more open than people realised.
Yeah. It
So a lot
is.
of people travel more.
And this is what I say to people as well. Like, you have to understand that not every single bit of history that we've been told doesn't actually. It's more Chinese whispers. You've got to go to the source to find out. It's like when we talk about this. We were talking about the hierarchy. Now, you've got Baal, you've got Lucifer, you've got Satan, you've got Astaroth, but when we go back to the Lesser Key as well, the Solomon's Lesser Key, were commanded by 4 kings, and they were the kings of the direction. They were known as the cardinal directions.
The high keepers of directions.
Yeah, you got God, this is going to be Amaimon is east. Corson is west.
Yeah.
Is it Zeminar north.
Zeminar.
Yeah, that's north, and obviously I got south left. I think that was, is it Galep or Gap?
It was Gap, but not how we pronounce it. It's a G with 2 dots above the A and a P.
Yeah, that's Hebrewic, isn't it?
Yeah, I can't remember how you bloody pronounce it. But yeah, them themselves are another order of. They weren't demonic. They were as elders, and the elders themselves have different orders amongst them. So it's, as I've been on about today with the group that we're out investigating with, things are a lot more complex than people realise. A lot of people just see demons. Oh yeah, it's Lucifer in charge. Blah 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 blah. When you look into it, you suddenly realise, hold up, no, he's quite low down, if not near the bottom of the food chain.
Yes,
and everything suddenly opens up, and you realise there's a reason that the church used to say that there's more demons than there is angels in heaven.
Yeah. I mean, 100%. And I think you nailed it when we was talking about this the other day, when you said, like, you know, the human race in itself, there's different types of humans. You know, there's regional differences, there's racial differences, there's cultural differences, and you have to understand demons in themselves are a race, so there are going to be different denominations of that race in itself. So as much as we sort of talk about hierarchy and we talk about the 4 ones that always seem to come up, you know, what we have to understand is just the way the world works, where you've got a different hierarchy for America or a different hierarchy for England. It's the same with the demonic realm. There's hierarchies all over the place. Like, you always talk about elders, we talk about Anunnakis, we talk about seraphim, we talk about cherubim. You know, it's just, there's hierarchies all over the place, and no one will ever be able to put their finger on the actual hierarchy because of the different denominations. It's regional.
Just to answer Kathy's question, saying Native Americans have artifacts predating Columbus. Yes. The Vikings reached Newfoundland as well, hence the name. And China was trading with the Native Americans on the west coast, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
There was a lot more going on than people realised.
Yes, and I listened to a really cool podcast about this the other day, and they were saying that the ancient Native American tribes didn't actually want to trade with the English and didn't actually want to trade with Columbus, and they didn't land where they said that they landed. They actually landed on, I can't remember, I think it was Trinidad or something like that, and they sort of made base
and then shipped
there.
over from there.
Yeah, and they got lost, didn't they? They was meant to come home. They got lost and found America.
Yeah, they were warned about the white man before we turned up.
Yes.
The Vikings abandoned it because of a red-skinned devil. That's where that's where the devil being red comes from.
Yes. I mean, I've heard this one. Yeah.
Turned out to be a Native American woman running towards a load of Vikings. They basically cacked themselves, jumped on the ship, and never came back.
When you mentioned about Native Americans and like sort of the Norse mythologies as well, they were highly spiritual, like people, weren't they?
Iceland still is. They tried to build a motorway, and it failed 3 times. And the construction bloke from America couldn't work out why it failed. And the local population of the village down the road told him it was because he was trying to build it through land of the, I think it was gnomes or fairies.
Yeah.
And he basically diverted a whole highway round the area because of it. When you go out there, you are not allowed. You know where you see photos of Iceland with all this moss and stuff like that that's lying around?
Yeah.
You are not allowed to walk on it. If you walk on it, it carries a $5,000 fine.
Wow.
If you walk off the roads or any path that's been made and you walk on that, it takes 100 years for that moss to regrow and you get £1,000, if not an imprisonment.
Wow.
They are that strict out there when it comes to spiritualism.
Yeah. And what you got to remember is with these sort of Norse mythologies, Native American mythologies, these sort of cultural belief systems actually predate Catholicism and Christianity. So,
Christianity is not that old.
No.
When you take into account Judaism and stuff like that, it's only about 6,000 years old.
Yeah.
Now, at that point, China is, well, look at Rome, go back about 3,000 years ago. China's already entering what's known as the 100-Year War, the Three Kingdoms War. They have the most advanced technology in the planet.
Yeah.
Us in Europe are still fighting with rocks. The worlds were all at different stages. This is what people don't seem to understand when it comes to stuff. Religion was the same. Religion was all at different stages.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Native Americans, Norse, ancient Asian sort of cultural religions and spiritualism, they were talking about demonics before even the Grimoires were written, books of Enoch and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, these are highly spiritual religions, and yet they still believe in demons. And this is what I try and tell people: you've got to try and look at the demonics out of, the told narrative of the biblical sense. You know,
look at Sumerian, Egypt, places like that predate Egypt's 8,000 plus. If you look at the Old Kingdom and the New Kingdom, stuff like that, they were still talking about having demonics, evil spirits, stuff like that, way before that. Christianity had even set foot anywhere. Like even Enoch wasn't even born yet.
It's mad.
And this is the old world. This is how it goes.
Yeah. I mean, I've got a lot of messages in the last couple of weeks, people saying like, as much as we talk about demonics, we need to talk about more paranormal sort of subjects. And I get what they're saying. But we have to understand is the stuff that we talk about, especially with the demonic hierarchy, and we talk about, the way that history has sort of made us believe this biblical narrative. It is paranormal. It does go down that paranormal line. It does toe that paranormal line, because without learning your history, you won't be able to investigate in the modern.
Yeah. As my old lecturer used to tell me, you can't understand where you're going if you don't understand where you've come from.
Exactly. I mean, hats off on that one.
Most paranormal groups now, they go out, they'll see spirits. They'll cry demons straight away.
Yeah.
They'll probably scratch every so often onto elementals. But ask them to explain what an elemental is properly, they won't do. You ask them to explain what a demon is properly, they won't do. They'll only explain to you what is in the Bible a demon being.
Mm-hmm.
As we've had in cases, people in some cases, we have people that instantly turn around and go, "Yeah, I'm attacked by a demon." You ask them for the details so you can deal with the case, and the first thing you get is it looks just like Lucifer off a film or a TV show.
Yeah.
Or the demons always look like they're off this, that, and the other.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem.
Yeah, it definitely is a problem. And when you talk about like investigating and things like that, we always turn to the modern description when it comes to hauntings. I mean, the first thing, for instance, you go into a house that's haunted, they turn around and go, I've got a poltergeist. Why have you got a poltergeist? Because it's throwing things around the room. That is the modern explanation from it. But if you go back and search the history for it, these things weren't even called poltergeists. These were just intelligent spirits.
Yeah, it's just a German word for noisy ghost.
Yeah, polter, and geist.
A noisy ghost can be anything from banging and stuff like that. But nowadays, it's only classed as poltergeist if something is thrown.
Yeah. I mean, the main question I get is if they're not evil, why do they possess? And we spoke about this the other day, didn't we?
Yeah.
And you sort of explained at the end of the day, there's good and bad in human race. So there's going to be good and bad in the demonic race. But you said, like you said at the beginning of the show, it's not about the soul. It's about the vessel.
Yeah. You can have, to put it in a modern perspective for people when it comes to possession. Like a possession, we assume a spirit goes into someone's body, pressurizes their soul down into nothingness and takes control.
Yeah.
Now you can have a possessed relationship where your partner, say husband or wife, is massively controlled and won't allow you to do this, won't allow you to do that, everything else. That is the same line as an possession.
Yeah.
The only thing is, it's physical. We see it. There's no difference between that and a possession and demonic. They will use you like puppets.
Yeah.
Your soul's still there, but they will use you like puppets.
Yeah, 100%. Me, I 100% agree with that.
Yeah.
Straight down the middle. That's answered anyone's questions out there. So if anyone's ever asked about why do demons possess, there's your answer.
I'm very straight to the point. People realise this. You know this after years of working with me. I will not flutter around and say what people want to hear. I say it as it is, and as it has been for the past thousands and thousands of years from doing research all over the place for it.
Yeah. I mean, and the knowledge that we drop on this show is not just something that we just sort of pulled out of thin air. This is something that we've researched, we've developed our own theories, we've looked at things and sort of gathered information from everywhere and put it all together and just sort of come out with the most common explanation for what we found, you know.
To put a personal note on this for anyone that's curious, with demonology and cultology that I didn't do them online for 3 hours.
No.
I've been doing it since I turned 18. It's cost me a fortune. Yeah. I have connections to people all over the world, be it museums, libraries, private collectors, stuff like that. But it has taken years for me to get that. It doesn't happen overnight.
Yeah, it doesn't.
This is why some of the information we put out on here, you'll find the odd little bit on the internet, but you won't find the full information because, unfortunately, a lot of people with money like to privately collect.
Yeah, it's where you get these esoteric types.
Yeah.
You know, hidden knowledge.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I agree with that 100%. But unfortunately, guys, we've come to the end of the show. Now, this one is definitely one of my favourites, mate. I'm not going to lie to you. I really enjoyed the conversation tonight. Just to let everybody know again, I know I keep banging on about it, but these are the sort of conversations we have on Inside the Other Dimension. So if you like the conversations we're having here, head over to our Patreon. It's patreon.com/The Other Dimension. Sign up to be a true ODD. Look, it's £3 a month, but it helps towards the show. It helps us to get the website up and running so you can get everything in one place. And not only that, literally, you get the full back catalogue of bonus episodes. You can find all these episodes on there. Also on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, you can find this one. But if you want the bonuses, it's patreon.com/The Other Dimension. Join it. Help us. Every money we get goes back into the show.
You can hear me rant and talk about subjects that we're going to talk about on the radio, but you have to listen to me rant first.
Yes, and you know what? I'm looking forward to the bonus episode where it's me, you, and Andy McGrillen talking about the UFO stuff. That is going to be a banging show, 100%. But that's us.
That's it for the week.
Yeah, that's us for tonight. Thank you to all the Pulse listeners. Thank you to Kathy Adams. Thank you to Robert as well, who are our new Patreon listeners. Out to everyone who's been locked in tonight. Well done, England. And we're out of here. So just remember, guys, if you can't get a natural explanation, if you can't get a spiritual explanation, always remember there is always the other dimension.
Thank you for joining us on this journey into the world of the paranormal. Don't forget, if you missed the show, it will be available on our podcast. Just search The Other Dimension wherever you get your favorite podcasts. If you have any questions about the show, or you wish to contact the show with your own experiences, just head over to the Facebook group at www.facebook.com/TOD Paranormal.
Ha 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 ha!